The massive communication arrays of the Galactic Imperium crackled with energy as the transmission reached Earth's orbital defense networks. Admiral Hyun Park stood motionless, his weathered hands clasped behind his back, watching the holographic message unfold before him. The message was clear and direct: total surrender or complete destruction. The Xylaxian fleet had conquered hundreds of star systems before, and they expected Earth to be just another simple acquisition. Their technological superiority had crushed civilizations for millennia, and they believed humanity would be no different. But they were wrong. In the central command center of Earth's unified military headquarters, the atmosphere was tense but not fearful. Screens flickered with incoming data, tracking the Xylaxian fleet's positions and analyzing their technological signatures. Jae Kim, the primary navigation officer, ran complex calculations with lightning speed. "They're positioning their primary battle groups here," Jae said, pointing to a three-dimensional star map. His fingers moved quickly, highlighting potential invasion routes. Classic Xylaxian intimidation strategy. Admiral Park studied the map, his eyes narrowing. Decades of preparation had led to this moment. Humanity had been watching, learning, and preparing, while the Xylaxian Imperium believed they were oblivious. Underground research facilities across the planet hummed with activity. Quantum weapon prototypes, adaptive AI systems, and revolutionary spacecraft designs had been developed in absolute secrecy. What the Xylaxians saw as a young, fragmented species was actually a carefully orchestrated military machine. "Send the response," Admiral Park commanded. Jae Kim looked up, a slight smile, crossing his face. "Are you sure, sir?" "Absolutely." The response was not a message of surrender, but coordinates, precise calculated coordinates that represented the first wave of Earth's defensive fleet. It was an invitation to conflict, not submission. In orbital, shipyards that had been hidden from external scanning, massive warships began to power up. These were not typical vessels. Each ship was a marvel of human engineering, modular, adaptable, and equipped with technologies that would surprise the Xylaxian fleet. The communication officer, a young woman named Sarah Rodriguez, transmitted the coordinates. Her hands were steady, her breath controlled. Years of training had prepared her for this moment. "Transmission complete," she announced. Admiral Park nodded. The first move had been made. Across the planet, military bases went into high alert. Cities that seemed peaceful moments ago transformed into strategic command centers. Every citizen understood what was happening. This was not just a military engagement. This was humanity's moment to declare its place in the galaxy. The Xylaxian fleet would soon discover that Earth was not another conquered territory. They would learn that humanity's strength was not just in its technology, but in its adaptability, its collective will, and its refusal to be subjugated. In research facilities, scientists continued their final preparations. Weapon systems were calibrated. Quantum computational matrices were synchronized. Adaptive AI combat algorithms were brought online, ready to analyze and respond to threats in microseconds. Admiral Park looked out the massive viewport, watching the first human warships begin their strategic deployment. Each vessel represented years of research, billions of dollars of investment, and the collective hope of an entire species. The Xylaxian Imperium had sent an ultimatum. Humanity's response was not words, but action. Warships powered up, weapon systems came online. The first chapter of humanity's galactic defense was about to begin, and they were ready. Deep beneath the Atacama Desert, a massive underground research facility buzzed with intense activity. Sung Kwon, the weapons research director, walked between rows of holographic displays, each showing complex weapon prototypes that represented humanity's last hope. "We've been preparing for this moment for decades," he muttered to himself, reviewing quantum weapon schematics that would have seemed impossible just years before. The facility was a marvel of human engineering. Multiple levels stretched kilometers, underground, protected by advanced electromagnetic shielding that could deflect even the most powerful scanning technologies. Here, the best minds of humanity worked in absolute secrecy. Yoon Lee, the quantum systems lead, was testing a new adaptive AI combat algorithm. Her fingers danced across holographic interfaces, pushing computational boundaries that no previous civilization had even imagined. The system could learn, adapt, and reconfigure weapon technologies in milliseconds. Each Xylaxian weapon signature we've collected becomes a potential defense, Yoon explained to her team. Young scientists watched in awe as the AI processed massive amounts of data, creating defensive strategies faster than any biological brain could comprehend. In orbital shipyards surrounding Earth, massive warships took shape. These were not traditional vessels. Each ship was modular, capable of reconfiguring its entire structure mid-battle. Weapon systems could shift, shields could adapt, and propulsion could change based on real-time battlefield conditions. Min Kim, the Planetary Defense Coordinator, reviewed global defense strategies. Military bases on every continent were being transformed. Cities became potential defensive positions. Every bridge, every highway, every communication network was being prepared for potential conflict. "We're not just building weapons," Min told a group of senior military commanders. "We're creating a planet-wide adaptive defense system." Training programs intensified. Soldiers underwent quantum neural link training, allowing them to interface directly with advanced combat systems. Pilots trained in simulators that pushed the boundaries of human reaction time and strategic thinking. In universities and research centers worldwide, scientists who had been working on seemingly unrelated projects now saw their research converge. Material scientists, quantum physicists, computational experts, all of their work was now part of humanity's defense strategy. Sung Kwan's team developed weapon systems that could change molecular structures mid-flight. Projectiles that could adapt their composition based on target defenses. Energy weapons that could reconfigure their frequency to penetrate previously impenetrable shields. "The Xylaxians think we're primitive," one researcher commented. "They have no idea what we've been preparing." Global resources had been quietly redirected. Economic systems were restructured. Every industry, from manufacturing to communication, was now part of the planetary defense infrastructure. Satellite networks were upgraded. Communication systems became encrypted quantum networks that the Xylaxian technologies couldn't hope to crack. Navigation systems were redesigned to provide instantaneous battlefield updates. In space research centers, experimental propulsion technologies were brought out of theoretical development and into practical application. Ships that could perform maneuvers previously thought impossible were being constructed. "We're not just defending," Yoon Lee said during a rare press conference. "We're showing the galaxy what humanity can do." The preparation was not just technological. Cultural unity had emerged. Nations that had previously been in conflict now worked together with a singular purpose. Every human understood what was at stake. Weapon systems continued to be developed. AI algorithms continued to learn. Ships continued to be constructed. The entire planet was a massive, coordinated machine preparing for the ultimate test. The Xylaxian Imperium thought they were sending an ultimatum. Humanity was sending a message of its own. "We are ready." The Proxima Centauri system erupted in a brilliant display of technological warfare. Wuxin's strike team approached the Xylaxian fleet with calculated precision, their warships moving like liquid mercury against the dark backdrop of space. "Quantum targeting systems online," Jin Park reported, her voice steady and calm. The navigation systems hummed with potential, each computational matrix calculating millions of potential engagement scenarios per second. The Xylaxian battle cruisers looked massive and imposing, metallic structures that had crushed countless civilizations now faced an opponent they didn't understand. Their weapons were designed for predictable targets. Humanity was anything but predictable. I Kim's weapons deployment system began its first real-world test, adaptive projectiles prepared to launch, each capable of changing molecular structure mid-flight. Where traditional weapons would have a single trajectory, these could bend, split, and recalculate their path instantaneously. The first wave of Xylaxian energy weapons launched. Massive plasma beams that had vaporized entire planetary defenses now streaked towards human ships. But something unexpected happened. Human ships didn't just dodge. They transformed. Modular sections shifted. Shield frequencies changed. entire ship structures reconfigured in milliseconds. What should have been devastating attacks became almost harmless light shows against adaptive defense systems. "Target acquired," Wu Xin commanded. "Full spectrum assault." The human response was nothing short of revolutionary. Quantum-entangled weapons fired simultaneously from multiple vectors. Each projectile could communicate with others, creating a network of destruction that the Xylaxian computational systems couldn't predict. Battle cruisers that had stood undefeated for centuries suddenly found themselves vulnerable. Human ships moved like living organisms, each vessel an extension of a complex adaptive intelligence that learned and responded faster than biological computation could process. "They're breaking formation," Jin Park observed, watching the Xylaxian fleet's perfect geometric battle structure dissolve into chaos. Communication intercepted by human systems revealed panic among Xylaxian commanders. Their tactical algorithms, developed over millennia of conquest, were failing against an opponent that didn't follow any known rules of engagement. Wu Xin watched the battle unfold with clinical precision. This wasn't just a military engagement. This was a demonstration of humanity's potential. Every movement, every weapon deployment was a message to the galaxy. We are not your typical target. Smaller human support vessels began implementing complex swarm tactics. Where one ship would be insignificant, hundreds moving with synchronized intelligence became an unstoppable force. They attacked weak points, redirected energy, and created computational confusion. The Xylaxian fleet's response became increasingly desperate. Massive energy weapons that had decimated civilizations now seemed almost comical against human adaptive technologies. Each attack was anticipated, redirected, or completely neutralized. "Casualties?" Wu Xin asked. "Minimal," Hai Kim responded. "Our adaptive shield systems are performing beyond projected parameters. In less than 30 standard galactic time units, the entire engagement transformed. What should have been humanity's potential extinction became a decisive demonstration of technological superiority. The Proxima Centauri system became a turning point, not just in this conflict, but in galactic understanding of human potential. As the last Xylaxian battle cruiser retreated, damaged and confused, Wu Xin allowed himself a momentary smile. The first message had been sent. Loud and clear, humanity was here. And humanity was not to be underestimated. "Prepare recovery and analysis protocols," he commanded. Every piece of data from this engagement would be studied, learned from, and used to develop even more advanced systems. The first engagement was complete. But the real war was just beginning. The war transformed into a battlefield of pure technological innovation. Dai Cheng's intelligence analysis team worked in a massive underground facility, processing data from every engagement at unprecedented speeds. "Each Xylaxian defeat becomes our next weapon," Dai muttered, watching holographic displays that tracked technological evolution in real time. Computers processed millions of combat scenarios, learning faster than any biological intelligence could comprehend. Su Park's technological adaptation team was revolutionary. Where traditional military research might take years, they condensed development cycles into hours. A weapon system destroyed in one battle would be completely redesigned and deployed within a single planetary rotation. The Xylaxian Imperium discovered something terrifying about humanity. They didn't just fight. They evolved. Captured Xylaxian technology became fuel for human innovation. Advanced computational systems were reverse-engineered. Weapon signatures were analyzed and transformed. Each piece of enemy technology became another tool in humanity's expanding arsenal. Rikim's Psychological Warfare Division worked alongside technical teams. They weren't just breaking enemy systems, they were destroying their entire strategic understanding. Communication networks were infiltrated, computational matrices were disrupted. The Xylaxian fleet began experiencing systematic confusion. Quantum communication networks allowed human forces to share tactical information instantaneously. Where the Xylaxian fleet relied on traditional hierarchical communication, human forces operated like a collective intelligence. Each ship, each soldier, became part of a larger, adaptive system. Military bases on Earth transformed into continuous research facilities. Universities collaborated with defense teams. Every scientific breakthrough became a potential weapon. Materials science, quantum physics, artificial intelligence, all converged into a singular purpose of planetary defense. They think in centuries, Day Chung explained during a strategy meeting. We think in moments. Adaptive AI systems began predicting Xylaxian attack patterns before their own commanders could plan them. Weapon systems could reconfigure mid-battle, changing molecular structures, energy frequencies and tactical approaches in microseconds. The psychological impact was devastating. Xylaxian military commanders watched their most advanced technologies become obsolete within single engagements. Their computational systems, developed over millennia, became increasingly irrelevant against human innovation. Satellites and communication networks became weapons. Information warfare reached levels never before seen in galactic conflict. Human forces could disrupt enemy systems, redirect computational resources, and create strategic chaos with unprecedented efficiency. Experimental technologies that had been theoretical suddenly became practical. Quantum entanglement communication allowed instantaneous tactical updates. Adaptive shield technologies could change molecular structures to neutralize different energy signatures. We're not just fighting, Supark told her team. We're rewriting the understanding of technological warfare. Each defeated Xylaxian vessel became a learning opportunity. Research teams dissected enemy technologies, understanding their computational logic and developing countermeasures before the next engagement could even begin. The war was no longer about physical confrontation. It was a pure demonstration of technological superiority. Humanity wasn't just defending. They were proving their potential to the entire galaxy. Xylaxian communication networks began showing signs of systematic breakdown. Their computational matrices, which had remained unchanged for centuries, couldn't adapt to the constant innovation. Military. Bases around the planet worked in synchronized harmony. Resources were redirected. Every industry became part of the technological warfare effort. Manufacturing, communication, transportation, all transformed into a massive adaptive defense mechanism. They underestimated our capacity to learn, Dai Chung said, watching another successful tactical engagement. The holographic displays showed human forces systematically dismantling advanced Xylaxian technologies. The message was clear. Humanity was not just another conquest. Humanity was a technological force that would reshape galactic understanding of warfare, innovation, and potential, and they were just getting started. The final negotiations took place in neutral space, aboard a massive diplomatic station that orbited a distant, unremarkable star. Kyung Han led the human delegation, his presence calm but unmistakably powerful. Xylaxian representatives looked defeated. Centuries of galactic dominance had crumbled in mere months of conflict with humanity. Their once perfect computational systems lay in ruins, their military strategy exposed as rigid and predictable. "We are not here to destroy," Kyung Han stated, his voice clear and measured. "We are here to establish a new understanding." The diplomatic chamber was tense. Representatives from dozens of previously conquered civilizations watched carefully. Humanity had done what no one else had ever accomplished. They had not just resisted the Xylaxian Imperium, but completely dismantled their technological superiority. GU, the cultural liaison, presented a comprehensive framework. It wasn't just a peace treaty. It was a complete recalibration of galactic interactions. Humanity proposed open technological exchanges, collaborative research networks, and a new approach to interstellar cooperation. Tai Kim, the economic strategist, outlined potential trade agreements that would benefit multiple star systems. Where the Xylaxian Imperium had ruled through fear and subjugation, humanity proposed mutual growth and understanding. The Xylaxian lead negotiator, visibly uncomfortable, realized they had no real negotiating power. Human technologies had proven so advanced that military resistance was futile. Their only option was cooperation. Earth's terms were clear. No territorial conquests, no forced submissions. A new galactic framework, based on mutual respect and technological collaboration. Smaller civilizations that had been under Xylaxian control watched with hope. Humanity wasn't just fighting for itself. It was fighting for a fundamentally different approach to interstellar relations. "We do not seek empire," Kyung-han explained. "We seek understanding." The negotiations revealed something profound about human potential. Where other civilizations saw conflict, humans saw opportunity for growth. Their adaptive technologies were matched only by their capacity for innovation and cooperation. Communication networks began broadcasting the terms. Every star system could see that something fundamental had changed. The Zalaxian Imperium was no longer the unquestioned power of the galaxy. Technological research centers across multiple star systems began analyzing human strategies. How could a young species develop such advanced adaptive technologies? How could they transform entire computational frameworks so quickly? The treaty was signed with minimal resistance. The Zalaxian Imperium, for the first time in millennia, was forced to negotiate as an equal, not a conqueror. Earth's representatives made it clear. This was not about revenge. This was about creating a new path for galactic civilization, diplomatic. Stations buzzed with discussions. Smaller civilizations saw a potential ally. The massive, oppressive structure of galactic power had been fundamentally challenged. GU's cultural analysis revealed something remarkable. Humanity's strength wasn't just in its technology. It was in its ability to adapt, to learn, to grow. Where the Zalaxian Imperium saw civilizations as resources to be controlled, humans saw potential partners. The final document wasn't just a peace treaty. It was a new blueprint for interstellar cooperation. As the negotiations concluded, Kyung-han looked out at the assembled representatives. The message was clear. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as partners. The galaxy would never be the same.